This is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright light, city lights, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. I just happen to come apart. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. I'm your host, Jeff J. Chrissy's here too, and we're here to review Power Season 6, Episode 9, Scorched Earth. Better late than never.
I feel like you're looking at me some type of way.
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at life.
Oh, life. Yeah, life happens, bro. You know what I mean?
Man. This is a long week, a good week, but a long week to say the least.
The least.
You know what I mean? My birthday was on Monday. And
Happy birthday!
Thank you. It's belated now. Thanks.
Well, no, wait a minute. I hit you up on your birthday. Let's not act like I'm doing it for the first time here.
I mean, you know.
You got a whole shout out on the IG story. Like,
you did.
Let's not pretend.
You did. But
Thank you.
The jokes are still gonna fly. So,
so
you know,
trash.
we had a lot going on this week. I'm not dead, as King T'Challa would say. But we're here. We're ready to go, man. Like that episode. Woo, maybe we needed a couple of days to process.
Yeah.
This episode.
I don't even know where to start. It was so much happened. Remember I said in the very beginning of this podcast, I feel like we're going to lose somebody every episode. And, and we really have. And not only did we lose one, we lost two.
Right.
So it's kind of crazy.
It's been ramping up. And I remember we talked about it last episode, and I said, we're on a collision course. We're on like a death collision course right now, because it felt like everybody's been put in a corner. And all they can do is fight back. And this episode showed that now it's not only about self-preservation, it's about revenge. And people are breaking their principles in order to get that revenge. Because the one thing that you remember, Tasha's rule, her mantra, we ain't see shit. You don't say shit, they ain't shit, right? And it feels like everybody's broken that, right?
Every last one of them,
right? So, who do you want to start with to talk about? We get into this because everybody's snitching.
Everybody's snitching. Goodness gracious, Jeff! Like, I'm trying to I have feelings about what happened in the episode. Like, I just felt. I'm trying to figure out, where do we start? Well, of course, we start with Tommy still reeling from the death of Keisha. He's trying to figure out. We are introduced to a new character in Jesse Williams.
Listen, Jesse Williams is a mood, yo. I want to get the bag for 5 lines. And judging from interviews that he's done, I don't know if he's going to still be in the show.
I know, that was it. Like, we gonna drop cash off, bruh. Like, hey, if you need me, I'm ready. That's pretty much all he was there for.
Yo, that felt like the casting where you wake up one day, you like, oh, Power's about to be done. Let me call them and see if I could get on real quick. I always wanted to be on that show. Like, yo, y'all gotta roll for me. Yo, why don't you be Cash's
on Game of Thrones? Everybody wanted to be on that last season. It was like, bruh,
it's like, yo, can I be a dragon? Like,
yo, I'll be one of the walkers. I really don't care. You know what I mean?
But the thing about it, is, man, of course his name was Kadeem. One of the
it had to be
top three Jamaican ass New York names of all time. Kadeem.
Oh my God, I have like 3 friends by that name, which is so crazy.
If you live in New York, you know at least 2 Kadeems.
You have to.
At least, definitely one, at least 2. But I mean, for the 25 seconds he was on screen, it was cool, and even from his demeanor, from everything, you wish that he was still around. Like, he was around for more, but, you know.
I wouldn't have minded his character. You know what I mean? Like, I really wouldn't have minded. And it was good to see that there was no beef between him and Tommy. It is what it is. Like, we lost our girl. We got to figure out what happened. And Tommy made a promise that he was going to do that. in the end of it all, I feel for Cash. You know what I mean? Of course, in this show, you knew everybody was susceptible to getting got. You know, when you're playing in this game, anything can happen. But you just see Cash. They didn't give him any lines, but he's sleeping, and you just know, like, the poor kid. Like, I felt bad. So it was cool for them to introduce Jesse Williams. Now we actually know that there is a face for Cash's dad. And if he ever does come back where Tommy needs that help, you know, we may end up seeing him pop up again. We don't know. There's going to be a lot that happens, because for them to have done what they did in this episode, I assumed it was going to be a big throwdown between Ghost, Tommy, and getting rid of Jason Mittich. Right. So that's what I assumed the ending was going to be. So now we're looking at a whole different ending. We don't know if Tommy's going to need that help in the end.
I mean, yeah, well, clearly, they probably going to need the help for each other, because also shout out to Tommy for not wanting to take care of the kid.
Bruh, he talked about so fast though.
Yo, he tell you, Kadeem was basically like, "Yo, you still gonna be in this kid's life?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm straight. I'm good. You know, y'all got it. I gotta go kill some folk."
We all knew. I mean, I said, like, what was it, 2 episodes ago? I said, this is not the life. I mean, yeah, we can pretend. When he got that house, I knew it was like the beginning of the end. Like, there was never going to be a happy ending for Tommy. Tommy is this life. This is the life that he wants in the drug game. He likes the fast-paced, dangerous lifestyle. That's what Tommy thrives off of. Like, he was never going to be that dude in the suburbs. You feel me? Like, so raising Cash is not in his end game.
Right.
So the end game for Tommy is prison or death.
Right. And it looks like he wanted that end game to also be Ghost death. Yeah. Because by now we see that he's convinced Ghost killed Keisha.
Yep.
He's convinced Ghost killed Keisha. So now it's everybody in the show feels like someone has crossed the ultimate line.
Yeah.
Where we've gotten to the point where they've tried to kill each other, they've argued, they've separated. There's been major conflict, but it felt like there was always a point of return. And now we're at the point of no return. Keisha's death was Tommy's point of return. And he's the one who for whatever reason, probably because Ghost tried to pay her off, and then the hitter came for Keisha, and now Keisha's dead. He doesn't know about the papers that she signed or anything like that. So he was hell-bent on killing Ghost. And even to the point where he goes to Tasha and Tariq, and he has that conversation to tell them. But even so, he doesn't want approval. He's not asking.
Oh, he's just giving them heads up. Yeah. Right. That's true.
He told them like, yo, this is a new Ghost. This isn't the Ghost that we knew. This is a Ghost that ain't about the family. He got nothing to do with us, and there's nothing that he could come back from. And Tariq was like, and you see, Tasha lied to Tommy's face.
Get in the Emmy, okay? Like, even the thing about it is for Tariq to have picked up on that, I'm surprised that Tommy didn't. And if I go back a little bit, when you were talking about people who have crossed lines, you're absolutely right. Everyone has pretty much crossed the line. You know, I thought at some point there may be some hope for Tasha and Ghost. Maybe that is gone. He crossed the line. He put hands on her. That's something that you could see in her face. Ain't no coming back from that. And that was actually the moment when she knew the gloves are off. You want to play this game? You want to put hands on me? I got something for you. Right. So I agree with you about everybody having lines crossed. But I was really shocked that Tommy didn't pick up on the way that Tasha was acting, because he's known her way longer than Tariq has. You feel me? So I just, for Tariq to have said, you killed her, didn't you? Like, how did he not? Like, can you explain? Maybe he's still in grief, or?
Well, they've shown that he's intelligent, and he's like really precocious beyond his years, right?
Right.
And this is also probably the best liar on the show.
I agree.
Tariq, the way he comes up with stuff on the fly and off the top of his head and is convincing. The only way you know he's lying is if you know he's lying.
If you know he's lying, he's better than Ghost. I'll tell you that.
Right. So I loved his face when he just saw his mom talking about Keisha, and he just looked like, the fuck is this about? And then they had it out like, yo, how you kill Keisha? You don't tell me. And then she told him like, yo, I ain't gonna lie to you no more. Blah blah blah. She was gonna snitch XYZ. You know what I mean? So,
and I thought he was mad at her because she killed somebody, and that wasn't even the case.
Right.
He was mad that she didn't allow him to protect her.
Right.
He's like, listen, I am here. Like, let me handle this. Like, that's what I'm here for. And it's like sometimes I forget Tariq is not even a legal adult, because the way he talks is he's really far past his years, I guess you could say. So I understood the way, every boy who does not have a father in the house, whether it's through divorce or loss, you take on that man of the house role.
Right.
So I understood Tariq's pain in that, like wanting to protect his mom, wanting to make sure she was good. It wasn't even about her killing Auntie, what do you call Auntie Keisha, whatever, but it was just about him protecting his mom in the best way that he knew how.
Yeah, exactly. And we get back to Tommy, right? He so he's convinced Ghost killed Keisha. So what does he do? They're trying to go through this whole plan to kill Mittich, where Ghost has bought a new building for the failing Queen's Child Project. Right? He's bought a new building, and his plan is to go to Mittich like, yo, this is the best way for you to clean, a new way for you to clean money. I got this Queen's Child Project. Go with me half on the building. You'll have some place where you could clean your money. Check out the building with me tomorrow, XYZ. And that was where and they were talking about it from before. You plant the gun in the elevator. I'll get him there. And from there, I'll handle the rest. So he's like, cool, right? And the thing about Mittich, right? I feel like he was on borrowed time from jump, but he's been stretching out this process. Like for all the things he's been doing to Ghost and Tommy, the fact that he survived this long is nothing short of a miracle to me. But he's also never put himself in a real position to get got until he went to that building.
Yeah, he was alone.
Right.
He was alone.
And you see, which I thought was smart, his right-hand man was like, yo, take the gun. Take the gun. If they try to set you up, just take the gun. You don't know what's going to go down. And you can see when he went through the metal detector, he did not take the gun. But what Ghost didn't know, not only did Tommy not plant the gun, he texts Mittich to let him know that Ghost is going to kill him. So that was the first instance of snitching that was going on between Tommy, Tasha, and Ghost, right? The first, so they have their scuffle. Ghost kills another supervillain, quote unquote.
Bruh, can we just talk about how dope it was that he had the wire in his watch, though? Like, Mittich was prepared for whatever went down. He may not have had his gun,
right?
But he was very skilled in fighting. And the one thing I will say, the reason that he has lived this long, as you were talking about, is because he put Ghost and Tommy against each other. Had Ghost and Tommy been working together from the beginning and they didn't have this dissension, Jason would have been dead. We wouldn't even have gotten this far. And you and I both know that. He played off the fact that Ghost and Tommy were not getting along, and he used that to his advantage. So that was smart for him. He lived till episode, what was this, 8? So that was good. But he was a very skilled fighter, and we saw that in the elevator, as he was all he had was that wire inside of his watch. And I at one point was like, man, Ghost, we've never really had to see him fight. He's always had a gun. He's always had a second hand handling all the dirtiness for him.
He fought Kanan.
Yeah, but he didn't finish Kanan.
I mean, we thought we didn't know that Kanan was a supervillain himself that can walk through fire.
But if you remember back then, I said he should have shot him in the head. You left him in a burning building, hoping that he would die. When you want somebody dead, you have to actually end their life, like not hope that something else will do it for you.
Well, after the way he fought Tommy, that little scuffle, that original scuffle they had,
that's true too.
I didn't know if he was able to get that out, but he did. He did.
He be in his suits. It throws me off.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
I'm not looking at him to fight.
Well, he's used to handling situations with sex. So I'll handle this, Tasha. So I get if we don't see the hand skills and whatnot, but so he's able to kill Jason. And then set Dre up of all people and here's something that I love. Two things I loved about that scene. One, the fact that he used Jason's finger to open the phone.
Yeah.
So to unlock the phone, let me stop being Caribbean. Because you can't open the phone because he didn't have no tools to open the phone. To unlock the phone. And text his man like, yo, Dre double crossed me.
Yeah.
And then called Dre to come over to the building. And then tells the building person, pays off the pill. And shout out someone on Twitter said that was like a Mississippi rack, where he gave him the roll of money to do whatever he had to do to make sure that he wasn't detected, and that once Dre comes in, that he calls the cops on him, right? So that was cool. That was cool to see that he had
the guard saw him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, of course the guard, but after he got that money, he ain't see shit, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying the white guard.
Oh, that saw Dre.
A police officer that caught him. I don't think that was a police officer.
No.
I think that was a guard. Yeah, but it was definitely a white dude who saw Dre's face. He shined the light right on his face. So that's the main reason why Dre ran. And who did he run to? Sax.
Right. But before I get to that, it's I love the fact that we get to Ghost, right? And what was Ghost's reason, where he felt like the reasonings for the type of snitching he did. After he gets out the elevator, he calls Tommy like, yo, why? What you said? What the fuck did you set me up, Tommy? And then Tommy at this point is convinced, 100% convinced that he killed Keisha. That's why, no matter how much in the right, because I saw some people talking about why Tasha wouldn't just tell Tommy, because Tommy knows if somebody snitches, everybody that snitched on Tommy got killed, no matter how close they were to him. This is different. This man was about to get engaged. He was ready to propose to Keisha. He finally felt somebody who, in his eyes, superseded any type of concern that he had about snitching. And this was a real one. This was a rider, the person that he's been looking for his whole life. So at this point, whoever took that woman away out of his life was dead. Period. So,
but did he not notice the suitcases? Like, was he thinking those suitcases were there because they just moved in? Like, there's some missing pieces here, I would think.
I feel, well, even to the point where Blanca approached Tommy and he even said, like, you didn't call it in. And that, that whole stuff is sketchy to me, writing wise. Like, all right, he didn't call, like, what happened? Did he call the cops? Did neighbors hear? Like, what? We could have got a little bit more with that. But yeah, that man is just convinced Ghost killed him, and Ghost now
because he killed Ghost person.
Right. And now Ghost knows that this is what's going down. The other thing is when he goes to the parent teacher conference for Tariq, which is hilarious, and the dude, Tariq's teacher Radner, who's the coke fiend.
Who's really happy right now, by the way.
who needs to sell that extra money to pay the bills. Let's Ghost know that Tariq has an after-school job at daycare, where Ghost puts two and two together and is like, well, I didn't know about this job. Wait, he has a job at the daycare? What the fuck is going on at the daycare? That's where we get into that big confrontation with Tasha and Ghost. What did you think about that?
Ooh, I feel like a lot of that anger was building up on both sides. You've got two parents who feel that they are the best parent, right? Nobody wants to admit that they fail in some way. So you've got Tasha, who is I'm just meeting Tariq where he's at right now. Like, we're not going to be able to stop him from living this life. So I'm going to do what I can to save his life. And then you got Ghost, who is we just lost a child and you're putting another child in harm's way. How could you do this? Da, 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 da. And can we just be clear? Ghost has not been a parent, not nan one of these seasons. Okay. So now that you're trying to come in and act like you're doing something, please take a seat, sir. Like, we don't need this from you. All right. So I understood Tasha's part. Now, a couple episodes, I know I was very vocal about the fact that I didn't like that she was putting her son in the drug game. But I understand it from the side of, I just lost a daughter. If I'm going to protect my other son from this life, I'm going to have to be the one to do it. I can't just send him out there because he's going to do it anyway. So if he's going to do it, I'm going to show him the right way to do it. And she played at Ghost ego. He's better than you. Like, she says little things that she knows are going to set Ghost off. So, but when he put his hands on her, I was like, okay, now, nigga, like, you done went a little bit too far. We knew Tasha was not going to let that go. I didn't think she'd go as far as she did, but at the same time, Ghost should never put his hands on her. Like, I don't even know this Ghost that we're looking at right now. I really don't.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's acting out of their character. Everybody has been brought to the brink where they doing a lot of things that they wouldn't normally do. So the things about that argument, him threatening that if she keeps selling drugs and having Tariq and drugs, they're gonna take Yaz away. I'm like, Ghost, Yaz has been away. This whole series.
Like, bro, we've seen Yaz once. She choked on a damn keychain. Okay?
I was like,
Season
take Yaz away. That girl ain't been around since whatever. Since she choked on that damn
and Tasha knew it too. Tasha was like, bro, yes. Like, you think I'm worried about Yaz?
She was like, yes. Oh, her? Whatever, Ghost.
She don't live here nowhere.
Right. So that's when their whole back and forth went on. Where she was like, yo, I'll let them know about Terry Silver. And he was like, yo, you wouldn't do that. And then says Tariq's blood is on your hands. That whole, that whole scene was like really disturbing.
It was very disturbing.
But
you never want to see that.
The fact that they took the classic Chris Rock line about I'll shake you, I won't hit you. And he was literally holding her forearms and shaking her. And it was like, they're all just looking at each other, and while the shaking is going on, that was just like that was a lot. That was a lot to see. And then when he like pushed her finger on the forehead, like, yo, it's on your hands. It was kind of it was very jarring because you haven't seen that. You know what I mean? You haven't seen that or even seen close to that. It was jarring enough, but then with the way they were acting it out, I was just like, all right, guys, relax. But so what does Ghost do? He goes through with it. Calls the police on the daycare with the quote unquote anonymous tip. And of course, since Tasha is schooling Tariq on the game, she doesn't have any drugs there. She doesn't have anything. So the cops don't have nothing. But Destiny don't want to sell no drugs for her no more because she's there when she sees everything going. She's like, oh, nah. She's like, nah, sis. The block is hot, sis.
Me and my girls are out. We out.
You tripping. Girl. You tripping.
I was like, and the way they kept panning to her face the whole time, and she was like,
nope. Once you see that, oh, you got cops? Oh, you hot. Nope. I'm good. I'm so good. So
I think actually we're seeing the real Tasha. I know we were saying that we're seeing people out of character. Something in me tells me that we're seeing the real Tasha, the Tasha that we knew has been there, because in season 1, the way she talked to Ghost about the game, the way she knew what to do, how to handle it, I think we're seeing Tasha pre-power. We're seeing what she had to go through with Ghost when he was coming up in the game, all the things that she did for him. And I think that this is actually the real Tasha, not the prim and proper, my kids go to private school Tasha. We're seeing from the hood doing what she got to do to make it happen, Tasha.
Word. And we knew that was never that was all a facade, and we are seeing the real character. So not only does Ghost do that, but he has that meeting with Benny. Benny finally rolls up on him and wants to know the truth about Proctor. And they finally have that conversation where he's like, "Yo, you lied to me," and Ghost is like, "What you mean?" And they have that conversation where he says, "Yo, who really killed my my cousin, whatever," and they start touching on a lot of the things that we saw, in the show, where Benny said when that time when I rolled up, I got a vibe from Tommy. I let it go because I didn't. That's why that whole scene, he said that he let it go because he didn't really know what it was. And Ghost said it. He said he might have, and then he thinks about it. Like they're going through the whole progression with what happened in the apartment, and they're kind of comparing notes. But Ghost basically says, "Yo, it might have been Tommy. I thought it was the other guy, the Igor guy." And Betty says he was like, "Yo, I checked him out. Igor was in Europe the whole last month. That didn't go down. So who could it have been?" And they talked about the snitching. They talked about all of that. I love the fact that Betty called Tariq because half of the power fandom universe calls him Tyreek. So that was the most subtle but blatant nod to the fan base. He's like, your son Tyreek. He brought my daughter. He brought my niece Elisa Marie to the house, and blah 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 blah. I was when he said Tyreek. That I made it a point to put it in my notes that he
I cried because I literally called him that for all of I think it was season 1. I kept saying Tyreek. I don't know why, but I kept saying it. So
and that's how people spell
They
it.
probably did that.
Tyreek. I was like, that man's name is Tariq, not Tyreek. Tyreek is a totally different person other than Tariq. But he's
such a good actor too, though. Dominic Lombardozzi, he's been in a lot of shows, man. If you go look through his IMDb, anything you've ever watched, Dominic has been on in some way.
Fact.
Great actor, amazing.
Yeah, and he so now he says, given all of the new evidence and what Ghost has said, he gonna go and talk to Tommy and find out. And he did talk to Tommy. There was minimal talking.
There wasn't much talk.
Quick night fight, and Tommy gets the best of him. I will say,
I didn't like that.
I didn't like the way he went out because I feel like it betrayed his character, right?
And that's exactly why I didn't like it.
You're telling me Vincent would roll up on people with a whole crew. Mitich would roll up on people with a whole crew. But Benny wants to handle it one-on-one. And of all things, he brings a knife, not a gun.
Not a gun. And it just didn't make sense to me. You're this big guy. You know what I mean? The only gun he had, did he give it to Proctor? I'm trying to figure out, where is your gun?
You know what? That might be the case because I remember he gave him the gun and he was like, "Yo, take care of this, whatever." That might be what they're leaning at, that he didn't have to.
Come on, you only got one gun. Really? All those guys that roll, you only have one gun. Come on.
Right. Fam, I think you could have found the hardware. I think you know where to look. But he rolls up on him. He wants answers. They have that quick fight, and Tommy's able to overpower him, maybe because season 6 Tommy has gained his full strength. But
he could have at least hurt Tommy. It could have at least made him hurt Tommy where Tommy was injured. At least something. He did. There was really no point to that. If he was going to be killed that easily, why? That was the one scene that just kind of pissed me off because they've built his name up so much. And for him to go out like a sucker like that, I didn't like it.
Yeah, and I understand we're at a sprint to the end, but I don't think it was worthy to his character to let him go out like that. But now he's out, and Tommy has to also have an idea that Ghost has something involved in it, right? So now we get to Tasha. Tasha gets snitched on by Ghost. She knows it's Ghost. So what happens? Once Blanca and them roll up on her to try to press her to give information on Ghost or anybody. At this point, they want information on everybody, right? They trying to lock somebody up. She's open and willing to give them the information that she knows about Terry Silver, which is something that's been hanging along since Silver quote unquote disappeared. And she had the idea that, yo, I know Ghost did it. There's no way Ghost didn't do it. Everything lines up in accordance with what Ghost would do in this situation, right? Even more interesting is that, excuse me, Blanca is starting to close in on a lot of the things, but she understands something is off.
Yeah.
She goes to talk to Tommy and presses him about the Keisha murder, but she's not a detective. I don't believe she's a detective. I think she's just a sergeant, right? But I could be wrong on that. But even still, so her police skills tell her, and her gut tells her, Keisha, Tommy didn't kill Keisha. So he's like, okay, so if Tommy didn't kill Keisha, who killed Keisha? And she goes to Sax because she knows
she's a detective.
She's a detective, right?
Yeah.
I thought so. So she has those detective skills to let her know, like, yo, because those detectives, if they're good, they get an idea of stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, yo, he didn't do the shit. So she goes to Sax because Sax might be horrible at his job, but
he wants the same thing.
Right. She knows he has that blood feud, and then speaks to him on it like, yo, what is it like? What do we have to do? XYZ. And I think he mentions Ghost on it. Or once again, because he more than anything, if Sax could have 3 wishes, all 3 wishes would be to get Ghost locked up, right?
Which is crazy because he knows now that it was not Ghost who killed Angela. He knows it was Tommy at this point. But I think also you have to bring Greg into it too, right? They still want retribution for what happened to Greg. I just find it funny, kind of, that when they're looking through Silver's car, they of course find his body. He's dead in his trunk. Sax takes the phone.
Right.
He takes the phone. He does not even tell Blanca that he found the phone. So even though Blanca came to him like, yo, I don't really trust you. I don't like the way you do things, but I need you. He still does something shady in Sax fashion, shady as shit, takes the phone and hides it from her. Why wouldn't he just say, yo, we've got the phone, so that he could have the powers that be look at the phone? But he wants to do something dirty, something that he knows is not what was going to happen. He was never going to find that phone on Ghost, but now we are. He ends up giving that phone to Dre. So Sax does some really shady shit. I don't really agree with how he does it, but in the end, he wants the man. He wants Ghost. He wants to take him down, get him off the streets.
Well, here's a couple of things with that, right? One, if any of that gets figured out, or it becomes knowledge, then we're back at square one with stuff getting thrown out of court, because none of it will stick if he clearly planted the evidence. That's one. Two, I think the reason why he's planting the evidence is because he knows he's been bested by Ghost and Tommy for seasons, to the point where he's told them, even when he got caught doing the illegal wiretap and all of that, yo, you don't know who you're dealing with. There has to we can't use conventional methods to convict these guys and to bag these guys. We have to do something illegal to beat their super illegal activities. So this is what it is. And Blanca knew what she was getting into, but she's been dealing with all the shady people. Dre was the one who she pressed to get the info on Tommy's warehouse. So Spank and 2-Bit, they get bagged up, and they think that Tommy is the one who let her go. So now Tommy doesn't even know his own crew is against him. Then she goes and gets the help from Sax, presses and they devise the plan to press Tasha and threaten Tariq with the evidence that they found this phantom blood drop that we never heard about that they tied his DNA to. So we're gonna keep pressing on your son if you don't give us stuff. So Tasha gives all the info on where Silver is
and why Ghost without a body there.
And I saw a few people saying, and even me at first when they found the trunk. Found him in the trunk of his own car, and he's been there probably for the equivalent of in Power Time. He's probably been there for about at least 3 months.
Because if you think back to the beginning, how long this has been happening as far as what's been going on, it has to be some months. It's got to be. It can't. This is not weeks.
In Power Time, this is about. Because you got to remember, season 5 to season 6 transitioned right in. So it's been about, I think from Raina's death to now, it's been about 6 months. It's been about 6 months, six months at least. Because remember, Raina's death happened in the winter. And this is like spring, summer.
Okay.
Right? So even this whole time period from Silver being disappeared to now, I believe it's at least 3 months has gone by. So I was kind of like, yo, how is it that they never checked? They knew he was a witness. They knew he was everything. They never checked that LaGuardia. They never checked anywhere where he was. How is this random body in a random car and nobody knows? But then, yo, there's actually been stories coming out in the news of stuff like that, where if you park your car at the airport and you don't, like, you can leave your car in there and they won't come get the car because you still got to pay to get it out.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
if you don't pay to get it out, guess what? It's their car now.
Yep.
It's just gonna stay there because you're gonna need to pay all them penalties of weeks and weeks.
You might as well get a new car after that.
Right. At that point, it's like 15 car notes, and you're like, yo, you know what? I ain't need that car anyway. Fuck it. So
Ghost knew what to do. I mean, it just makes sense. Like that part.
And they said he might have been rushing because of the situation, so maybe they thought he left something, but he didn't leave nothing.
He didn't leave anything. It's just that stupid phone. But the thing you mentioned spanking 2-bit. We still have not dealt with the death. What's his name?
Black Grimace. BG.
Grimace.
Black
like,
Grimace.
bro, are we still? Tommy, does Tommy not know that spanking 2-bit at this point? You never went back to check to see if Dre had been killed or what's happening. Like, the way they have left that open, that's open is kind of stupid.
That's a wild open plot point.
You can't go back at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because Dre has been walking the streets for days now. You mean to tell me they never went back to make sure that Dre was taken care of ever?
Right. They didn't even speak on it. Like, we haven't heard that. Meanwhile, Dre got a whole new crew ready to sell. He's trying to make deals he's trying to make deals with Jason, knowing that Tommy's crew got popped. It's so many things. He even after Dre gets jammed up with the Mittich, he runs to Sax like, yo, Sax, this dude Ghost is trying to get me killed. Yo, we gotta get him. So he know, even Dre knows. Dre is a roach. He's just an ultimate survivor, and he knows that Sax has so much of a hard on for getting Ghost convicted that Sax will do anything, and he did anything, which was give Dre that phone to plant in Ghost's apartment. So now. With this extended season, a mid-season finale, episode 10, you have that phone in Ghost's apartment, and he's set up Ghost for one more run with the cops, but yet he's been able to be out here untouched after he killed BG, Black Grimace, and it's like, yo, that storyline, that storyline is a gaping hole, and this whole thing with Effie at the school getting Tariq bagged up, like, why? The why behind that. I really hope that they don't just leave that open.
That's two major storylines that they built up, you know what I mean? And for them to, like, I'm really upset about the Black Grimace thing. Because it was an actual death. Like, the dude died. And how do you have a major character like that. Like he was almost the right hand to Tommy, and it's not been addressed. So you mean to tell me Tommy was so into Keisha and Cash that no part of him, when the warehouse gets raided and you see Spank and 2-Bit being taken, nothing in your head says, hey, where's BG?
Word.
Nothing. Like, so we're really leaving that whole death, that whole scene just up in the air. And I know we're moving at a fast pace here, but at that point, why even have him killed? If you're going to do it like this, like that whole point of that was dumb.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff that pisses me off.
They could have even had Spank and 2-Bit talking about it before they got bagged up. Because I know, I know I've missed stuff in the show here and there before. But I know from what I remember, they were not talking about him. Like, no, we found him. We gotta find Dre. But like they could have fitted in there too instead of bitching about Tommy. Like they could have bitched about Tommy and talked about and we gotta get this dude because XYZ killed BG XYZ. So I don't know, man.
Better not bring it back in the future. Like when Tommy finally gets a hand on Dre and he says something like, "This is for BG." They better not.
Yeah, well, I'm watching, and Councilman Tate. His race. First of all, that race is over.
It's over.
That race bit over, but now it's big over. But he's two things about him. One, he now knows that Ghost is gonna be the lieutenant governor. Yo, this man from drug dealer to fucking lieutenant governor, whatever, right?
Hey, it's not the first. And listen, we got a lot of corrupt ass people.
We do
in politics.
We do. So it's just like Then he finds out that Ramona is leaving the campaign to go join Walsh's campaign, and he reveals from, I guess, whatever background info he knows about Ghost.
He calls him Ghost.
He knows about Ghost and wants to sever ties with him, officially sever ties, and they basically have the whole talk where Tate says he's too high profile for Ghost to kill, and Ghost like, you lucky I'm not I ain't the guy that you think I am. And so I did agree that Tate, at this point, Tate has literally nothing to lose because he's lost everything else, even though he's still going to stay in the race. But that is the bridge too far in murders. There's been enough murders going on in this show where it's like, all right, why hasn't New York been declared a state of emergency yet? That could be a bigger conversation, right? But if Tate gets killed or disappeared or anything, that's a different level of heat that I don't think Ghost really wants, unless he's able to stage something. I don't know.
Well, what I will say is Ghost is very good, and I think this is probably where Tariq gets it from.
Tariq.
When he called him Ghost, he didn't flinch. He was like, well, who's that? Like, he really played that very well, because we all know Ghost does not like for his name to be called out of pocket. We've really watched this entire season with him getting upset at people calling him Ghost. Tasha been doing it in a wrong way. His son has been calling him that. And every time Tariq calls him Ghost, you see a part of him just light up. Like he wants to whoop that ass. So when you have Councilman Tate coming at him, calling him that, I really thought Ghost was going to erupt. But he actually played the role really well. He was like, I don't know who that is. Like, and nothing in him gave away like that he could be Ghost, and he was playing the role. Like, he stayed true to the part, and I got to give him credit for that. I think that's where Tariq gets it from.
Word. Well, speaking of Tariq, what did you think about the final scene where he confronts Gross for touching his mom's, and he literally tells him, if you touch her again, I'm going to kill you myself.
I was like, it's about damn time. You know what I mean? Like, Ghost has been trying to parent Tariq this entire season, and he has been failing episode after episode, thinking he got Tariq in check. That's what kills me, is Ghost really be thinking when he says something to Tariq, that Tariq is listening to him. He be like, I got through to him, he good. All the while Tasha's like, nigga, you stupid.
Right.
So it was good to actually see Tariq come and show him his hand, like, yo, you touch my mom again, it's going to be a problem. And I felt that because I've seen many of things. I know that like I said earlier, the boy always wants to become the man of the house when the father is not present. If you've ever had to witness somebody putting hands on your moms. Like that is what you envision yourself saying to the person. You may not actually say it because you know you're the little person, but to see Tariq stand up for his mom like that shit was dope to me. Like I was like, that is what it is. Like you put your hands on my mom again, you're done. And I felt that. I wasn't mad at that scene. I was actually proud of that scene. Right. For real.
I say the one thing about Tariq that I was like, all right, you now at this point, I think you type just saying stuff to hurt him. When he had said the whole thing about you ain't never been a father in my life, I'm like, well, you didn't have a problem with him until you found out he was a drug dealer. Like let's keep it a stack because you know. There's been many people have grown up with the dynamic where the mom has been the one that's the most around, but the father is around, but he's working, and he's doing stuff, so he's only there at like special occasions and like here and there, not as much as the mom. So for him to now have a problem with the parenting, it's like, you a drug dealer? Oh yeah, you a horrible father. Like, I got that, but I was like, oh yeah, he's trying to like really hurt him because of course from this point forward the dynamic has totally changed. But even in the early seasons, right? You saw that he was there every morning. They were there every morning. They had breakfast. You're able to speak to his son, speak to him and Raina, speak to them after the fact. Probably once Angela was like heavy in it, you saw that. But even then, he was trying to have them come over at Angela's house and trying to finesse that whole situation and trying to make it so that the kids were an important part of the life. I don't think the problem
bullshit, by the way. I mean, but go ahead.
I hear that. I mean, maybe marry her first before you do all that. But
or divorce the mom first. Like, hello.
Like, I mean, hey.
There's a lot of things I can say about that.
We've seen some shit when it comes to that and the laws of marriage. But yeah, that was nuts. But I wouldn't say that was bad parenting as much as it was bad
choices
and just betraying the marriage and blah blah blah. I mean, there's a hint of bad parenting. There's a hint of bad parenting because maybe you don't put your kids in that position, but his intention, it may have been bad in practice, but the intention wasn't, I'm a deadbeat dad, fuck these kids, I'm about to take my mistress and we going to Miami in the clubs we haven't seen since season 2. But I think
there's a lot of levels to bad parenting too, Jeff. I think that's where I kind of don't agree with you, is that yes, like he wasn't like, my kids ain't shit, I'm a deadbeat, but you can still be a present parent and be a bad parent.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I'm just saying from what we've seen, from what I've seen, right. I don't know if it warranted what Tariq said when he talks about the entire life.
I think Tariq's thing is that he knows Ghost lied to him his entire life. Okay. Yeah. He knows he's been in a sea of lies. And so it's more of a thing of why have we been living this life? Like Tariq is very ungrateful. First, that's another thing.
Big facts.
Okay. Extremely ungrateful. You had a really nice life that most kids were not privy to. Granted, it's illegal money, drug money, but we're not going to go there. But I think Tariq is just upset. He's really upset at the fact that his life is a lie. And a lot of the things that have happened to his family are because of the decisions that Ghost has made. You know what I mean? So I kind of
Ghost and Tasha.
Ghost and Tasha,
but Ghost is the figurehead. And that's the thing. Like Tasha's been able to skate a little bit with this, but the fact that she's letting kids sell drugs, and Tariq's spot is like, but she let me sell drugs though. So
you're right.
You're
right.
I totally get that in that regard.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we touched almost everything. We can got a couple of emails. So let's get to that. Thank you once again, everybody who sends those in.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get to this. All right. Question from Jermaine Brown. Could Tariq be the one to kill Tommy to help Tasha?
I think Tariq is going to have another body on his hands before this show is over. I've questioned, could it be Ghost that he ends the life of? I never really thought about Tommy, but that's a good look, because you're saying if Tommy finds out that Tasha killed Keisha, would Tariq had to step in and save his mom's life. I'm assuming that's what he means. And that's
or
a good.
just
would
it is Tariq going to be put in a situation where he has to kill Tommy?
I think that's a tough question. I think the only way
if Tommy dies, will it
be
by Tariq's hand? I don't think so. I mean, from the vibes we're getting now, he might be the one to kill Ghost.
That's what I think.
It might be too obvious to me, but I don't know.
I do think Tariq gets another body on his hands though before this show is over. I'm very confident in that. Oh, we forgot to talk about the introduction of old dude. He came back in this episode, Mr. I feel for you and I want to be there for you.
Oh, Q?
Yeah, Q back.
Man, listen, I'm fed up.
The fact that they brought him back, though, I'm telling you, that dude's up to something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's like, all right, fam, like, where was you this whole time?
Because he kept asking, what can I do to help? She just lost her stripper connect. Doesn't he say he was a construction worker?
At this point, whatever you say, he did that shit.
I think he said he worked construction. So, like, that could be her new connect. I don't know. I'm just saying Q got a role in this thing. We gonna find out.
My man was ready to save Tasha. He's like, oh, I just saw cops. You need me? I need you. Fuck out of here. Whatever.
I know his role is kind of whack, but I will say he's there for a reason. They keep bringing him back. So.
Word. Let me see what y'all was saying. You'll see on Twitter. I saw a lot of commentary in the Let's see. Saber Jai Power. Not enough characters to express my disappointment with episode 9. Tasha, you I don't know what. I don't know what that is, like S @HM. I don't know what a stay-at-home mom. Oh,
SAHM is stay-at-home mom.
Yeah. Tasha, you're a stay-at-home mom, 16 years. Tariq is who he is because of you. Q is either Fed or Breezy's crew. Breezy, I think he's talking about from season 1. Sax, why are you at a crime scene? You just a citizen, and any evidence can't use no warrant. Now that's what I said before with the way he stole the
because you also can't trust Dre. What's to say Dre's not going to sell out the fact that Sax had him plant that phone for a better deal? You feel me? Like, come on now.
Word. It's true.
I'm laughing at you. Didn't know what the SAH.
No, because I was looking at it and I
so
was like,
innocent.
I thought he was trying to violate, and I was like, what are you saying about Tasha? And I was like,
you're so innocent. Oh,
no. When I saw the HM, I was like, oh, this nigga getting open. I was like, fam, it's just a show. It is really just a show.
You need help, bro.
Let's see.
It was I don't know. A lot of people. I did see a lot of disdain for this episode. I think a lot of people didn't like it.
I saw somebody say that they thought that. So I saw somebody randomly say that they think Q is Silver's brother, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm done with y'all.
That's a stretch.
Mr. Fantastic type stretch. The plot. Who's this? Nice, the infamous. The plot points in episode 9 felt rushed. They aren't giving any of the story beats time to actually play out. I do think that with the whole Black Grimace thing, but the one thing about these final seasons is a lot of times you get to a sprint with certain things, especially if we already know things about the characters. They'll just get right to it. So I don't know if
that's what I felt about the Nitich thing. I felt like that was kind of rushed.
Right.
Killing him at this point, you've made him this big badass character all these episodes, and then that's how he ends up losing his life. Same thing with Benny. I feel like both of those deaths were rushed. They didn't have the depth that I feel like they deserve, which means we better get like the most beautiful ending for Tommy or Ghost, because they just rushing all these deaths, and I don't know.
Let's see. Buki_FC. How did Tasha know exactly where to send the feds to find Terry Silver's body, but never went to find out what happened for herself?
But because she's not gonna get caught up in no death, because they would actually question her as to why she knew that's where the body was. Like that would put her in a bad situation if she went and looked at it for herself. It would bring about a lot of questioning, because at that point she was not ready to sell out Ghost. You know what I mean? So they would want to know why she knew where the body was. It leaves her open to a lot of questions that she already was dealing with heat for the stuff that's going on with Tariq. So to put her in that situation would be kind of dumb to me. So I understand that she waited and used that to dime out Ghost, because she knows Ghost's operation. She knows how he does everything. Ghost very rarely switches up how he handles any aspect of the business. And Tasha has been with him for decades. So she was waiting for the moment to dime him out, and she got it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, and we got one more email from our girl Karanisha Richardson. Let's see what she got to say. My eyes almost got stuck from rolling them during the Tariq telling off his father scene. Tariq has zero self-awareness. Just a few episodes ago, he could have hit his mother's. He could have had his mother harmed with the whole fake hostage plot. His father and mother just saved his ass from the Italians, and yet he's become a revisionist and claims Ghost hasn't ever done anything for him. The timeline of this show has taken place over the span of a year. The first few seasons didn't show any type of severed relationship between Ghost and his children. The vitriol he has for his father is odd and unfounded. The writers have retconned Ghost's character. They have erased so much of his smart slickness. Ghost didn't hem Tasha up when she had sex with his play son or anything else that has occurred. I'll assume they did this abuse towards Tasha as a means to get the audience to further side with Tasha and their spawn. Ghost is an idiot for propelling himself into the public eye again with this political storyline, and Tasha has a fetish to the drug game. Thank you guys for this podcast. I don't always agree, but I always enjoy. Nisha. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you
so much. One thing I will say is I have said from jump that I do think that he's gotten dumber over the years. I think there's reasons for that, because he's let his guard down and he's introduced elements into his life where he is gonna do things out of the ordinary. We just spoke about the whole thing about Tariq, and that is true. I mean, once again, he is a kid, he is a teenager, so they are gonna see things throughout. When you're a teenager, you see stuff through a different lens. So he did put his parents in harm's way with that whole plot, knowing that something else could have went down, and try to bank on the fact that they were gonna get him out, and if they didn't, he'd probably be an orphan or he'd be dead. So I definitely see where you're coming from with that.
At that point, he was still mad at the both of them, though.
Right.
At that point, he was mad at the both of them for continuing to lie. I will not say they made it a open discussion on the show all these seasons where Tariq had issues with his parents, but if you go back and watch episodes from each season, you can kind of see the buildup in my eyes.
Right.
I see the disdain with Tariq. Tariq asked a lot of questions. Y'all got to remember that. This kid every season was asking questions, and time after time, Ghost and Tasha kept lying to him. I think that's where all the built-up anger comes from with Tariq. He just wanted somebody to be honest with him, which is why he is so strongly with his mom right now, because she finally took down the curtain and said, look, son, this is what's going on. This is how things happen. And so that's why he loves his mom so much right now, because she's being honest with him. When you've been lied to your whole life, regardless of the type of lifestyle you live, it's going to come out in some way. And I think for Tariq, it was the rebellious side. That's why he started going with Kanan, because Kanan was keeping it real with him. So I think if you go back and you look at these seasons, you will see that the buildup was there. It just wasn't in our face the way some of you guys wanted it to be. But Tariq definitely asked a shit ton of questions and got a lot of shadowed answers. And that's where his anger comes from. That's what I think.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point, because it wasn't just, I wouldn't say it was out of nowhere. And to your point, he did ask a lot of questions. He was trying to figure it out, what the way his parents thought, why they were hiding stuff from him, the way in which they were hiding stuff from him. And he's come to the conclusion that his mother finally said, fuck it, I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah.
And Ghost is still living this fantasy world where he thinks if he can get Tariq on a straight and narrow, that everything's gonna be all right. And nah, fam, it's definitely not all right.
Not all right.
So thank you so much for those emails. I definitely also agree with the whole putting himself into the spotlight. Like that was the whole thing from jump that he always wanted to be. That's why he was a ghost. Now he is he's the undead, because we can definitely see him now. He ain't no ghost anymore.
All I hear is like Scooby-Doo. We could have got away with it if it wasn't for that meddling ghost.
Did you see that picture with the dudes, I guess, playing Ghost and Tommy for Halloween, and somebody called it weakness? Yo, I was screaming.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Somebody called it weakness. I was like, yo, what's wrong with y'all, yo? Somebody called it perseverance.
I saw that one. I said, oh Lord.
Previously
y'all come up with the word for anything. I love it.
Yeah, if it's one thing I'm gonna miss from Power is the memes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna miss
we
that
got some good ones.
Well, we got some
good ones when Angela was around too, man.
Oh, yes, 100%. Did you see that cartoon? Somebody made a cartoon about Power.
No,
you gotta check the account. Because I we tweeted it out a minute ago. I forget the artist name. It's Phil No BEP. He made like this. He makes like this Power cartoon that spoofs the storylines. Like, yo, the shit is hilarious.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, man. So I
said you see how I always send you stuff via DM, y'all. You see how Jeff does me, y'all. He didn't send me nothing, leaving me to the wolves to find it for myself. Okay, I see what you're doing.
I would think that you pay attention to the stuff we send out, but
wow.
Yes, I'm attacking you. Wow. I think that's about it. Do you have anything else on this episode?
I'm good.
All right, cool. So, yeah, we're season 10 next week. Well,
how many episodes we got before the break? This is the last one.
And shout out to whoever said it's the most black thing ever to do is to take a vacation 2 weeks before your break.
Who does that?
So this Sunday is the extended mid-season finale, so it's probably going to be something over an hour, and then we're on break until January for the final 5 episodes. And I still feel like, because they're calling it mid-season, that we're going to get those 5 episodes and then 5 episodes of whatever the new Power is. That's why it's like book 1, book 2. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll see. But we'll be here and we'll be on deck, ready to talk about this mid-season finale and all of the shenanigans that are gonna go down. And that's pretty much it for us. Thank you for listening. As always, if you want to connect with us, I am on all social media at Jeff J Says. Chrissy, where are you?
I am also on all social media at Chrissy Bree.
Yeah, get it. And if you want to send your questions, comments, concerns, and your commentary about the show, hit us on Twitter at Power After Hours or on email powerafterhourspod. Power After Hours Pod. I think that's what it is.
I think that's what you said.
I might be lying. I don't know. I don't think I'm lying. But,
I know you say pod, so it's whatever it is, pod.
She's like, it's something.
I know that.
Something pod. No, I think it is. The thing is, y'all be sending messages. Yes, I was right. Power After Hours Pod at gmail.com, at Power After Hours on Twitter. Send all your commentary to us, and we'll read it on the show. Thank you once again for listening. Till next time, we're going to catch you later.
Peace.
I want you to sing it with me. They say this is a big rich town. Yeah. I just come from the poorest part. Right like city life, I gotta make it. This is where it goes. Yeah. I just have for nothing. Wait a minute. They say this is a big rich. Say what? I just come from bright light, city light. This is where it goes down. Yeah. I just have for nothing.